Homeowners insurance in Florida is rising faster than any state in the country, but my customer who's buying $1 million house just calls me and says, John, I got a $14,000 homeowners insurance quote on this house. What? That's right. Right now, insurance in Florida is a debacle. It's a derail. But here's the case, man. There's been a lot of insurance companies over the last 5 years who've said, that's it. We can't make any profit in this state. Hurricanes are getting stronger. Fraudulent claims just continue to go up. Everything is going in the wrong way, but there's maybe some light at the end of the tunnel. Hey, this is John Whelan, Mr. Downtown Delray. If this is your first time on my channel and you want to know everything about what's going on in Delray Beach and kind of everything in Florida, my subscribe button is below. Hit that red button so you're notified every time a new video drops. Today we're talking about what's happening in insurance in Florida. There's a lot to cover. Let's get started. So I'm going to show you through a bunch of slides exactly the story about what's happening in the state of Florida in homeowners insurance. It's really a disaster. Let's start with this first slide. Take a look. Florida residents pay some of the highest insurance premiums in the country, clocking in at $4,231 per year on average, which is 3 times higher than the national average. And here's the thing. Last year, the rates increased by 33%, versus 9% for the rest of the country. That's because of the issues with reinsurance in Florida and, of course, the increased velocity and intensity of hurricanes. Now, how about this chart? Take a look at this. So in October, the Insurance Information Institute, or III, published data showing that Florida leads the nation in homeowners insurance-related litigation, making up 79% of the lawsuits across the United States, while accounting for just 9% of the total claims. That is the biggest disaster I've ever seen. You mean one state has 79% of the claims versus all claims in the United States for homeowners insurance? This is a problem. And then there's this chart. Take a look. Between 2000 and 2019, there were 81 hurricanes and tropical storms that crossed Florida. Those were ones who needed assistance from FEMA. But it gets even worse. How about this information? Between 2017 and 2021, there were $51 billion in insurance claims paid out by the insurance companies. But this is where it just goes bonkers. Your head's going to explode. About 71% of that $51 billion was paid out to attorneys and insurance adjusters, and only 8% of that money went to the claimants. So, first of all, I'm in the wrong business. Second, you mean to tell me I've got an insurance claim and I'm only going to get 8% of that, but the rest of it is going to other third parties? This place is nuts and it is not going well. And to give you a little bit of history about this, United Property and Casualty is a company that's currently in liquidation, but they wrote this historical piece of information that said, since 1851 to 2018, that's about a 170-year period, there were 292 hurricanes that hit the United States. 41% of those hit Florida, and about 120 of those were a Category 3 or greater. So we're talking about a lot of activity of hurricanes hitting the state of Florida. So based on all that, how are the insurance companies doing? Well, take a look at this. You can see in this chart performance of Florida domestic property insurance companies since 2017. Look at that. They lost over $300 million then through 2019. Then in 2020, they lost over $1.35 billion. And in 2021, the same, about $1.18 billion. It just isn't looking good for insurance companies, which is why they're bailing. So let's take a look at those guys. So over the last half dozen years or so, there's been a lot. Over 9, 10, 11 insurers have actually said that's it, they're leaving the state, like AAA, Bankers, Centauri, Farmers, the list goes on. I think even USAA bailed out about 7 or 8 years ago and haven't returned to do homeowners policies. So down below is a link to a nice essay you want to read to give you kind of the history of who has left. And also below that is a great article for you to take a look at from Marketplace, talking about the top insurance companies, what you want to be looking at, how to go about getting good insurance policy for your home. Click on that link below. I think it's going to be very useful for you. So with all these insurance companies leaving, what happens to those policies that are currently in existence, or what they call in force? Well, that's where the state-run Citizens Property Casualty Insurance Corporation comes in. It's a state-run thing. They don't really want to be in the business of handling policies or claims, but they have to do it for the period of time while they're in transition. Take a look at this chart. You can see since 2017, they went from having about 400,000 policies, and now it's ballooned to 1 million in last year. This year, the number is already at 1.3 million, and they're saying that by the end of 2023, it could be about 1.5 million policies. But there's good news on the horizon. The state has enacted new legislation that helps fight against fraudulent claims, and they're attacking that, and that's hopefully going to be a good thing moving out from 2024 and beyond. Before we get into some of the good things that are going on in the insurance industry, take a look at this, which has to deal with flood insurance. Take a look. So with 11 million households in Florida, only 13% of them are covered with flood insurance. That means about 8.5 out of 10 are not protected by flood insurance. Here's the thing, if you're thinking about moving to Florida, the highest elevation is probably what, about 100 feet? So all of us are in some area of flood. You might not be designated flood insurance, and if you're on the 5th floor of a condominium, it doesn't apply. But flood insurance does not come with homeowners insurance policies. Those are two separate things, and it's not that expensive. So if you are buying a home in a low-lying flat area in the state of Florida, which is most of us, you should take a look seriously at getting flood insurance coverage. So now you have a perspective of what's been going on with the homeowners insurance issues in the state of Florida. The big question is this: why will the insurance debacle not derail Florida real estate moving forward? Well, here's the thing. Since 1992, there's been Hurricane Andrew, William, Charlie, Ivan, Irma, Susan, Sally, Billy, John, Jerry. There's been a lot of a lot of hurricanes come through the state. And the state of Florida has bounced back every time. Every time they've been able to work with the insurance companies, help pay the claims, move forward, rebuild cities, rebuild communities, so on and so forth. It's called reversion to the mean. It's like when you buy stocks only stretch so far, and finally they snap and come back. The state of Florida is doing everything they possibly can right now to write new legislation to help insurance companies return to the state. And as a matter of fact, over the last 90 days, they've approved 3 new homeowners insurance companies and 2 new flood insurance companies to start writing policies in Florida. So over the coming years, that's going to grow. There's going to be more insurance companies coming to the state. Why? Because net migration to the state of Florida is still averaging over 350,000 people each year. Insurance companies see this as a massive market. It's a cash machine. And they know that it's not just the hurricanes that are causing all the losses in their policies. No, it's fraudulent claims. So the state of Florida is working to change course on that direction. So the state of Florida is going to see a return of insurance companies left and right. Also, there's baby boomers. Baby boomers are up in the cold states freezing their butt off, and they're looking at brochures that have palm trees, sunshine, and beach. And guess what that is? That's Florida. And that's going to last as long as the baby boom run goes, which is until the year 2030. And also to consider is we've been in a 3-year period of rising inflation, some of the worst we've seen. Well, when inflation rises, so do things like cars and homes and cost of goods, and so does insurance. The other thing to think about is as home prices rise, so did insurance rates. But now that we're seeing price appreciation not being this much, but it's starting to rise at slower amount, so will the cost of insurance policies. So to put my final thoughts on this, to wrap it up, this is why Florida real estate will continue to thrive and not be hurt by the insurance issues. Reason why Florida continues to have the hottest real estate market in all the United States, and it's going to be like that for the rest of this decade. At the same time, the worst is now behind us for the insurance industry. They're getting their act together. The state has put in new legislation and laws to help the frivolous, fraudulent part of the insurance industry, which was the main reason why insurance companies left. So as migration continues to come here, now they've gotten rid of the carriers, they've already approved a handful of new carriers to start writing policies in the state, and inflation is now coming down, prices won't be rising and go out crazy as they were in the past. Things are starting to look a lot better for the state of Florida. Hey, if you like this information, do me a favor. Give me some comments, subscribe to my channel, let me know what your thoughts are about insurance, and if you're thinking about moving to the state of Florida and you'd like to get your hands on my free relocation guide, it's down below. Click on it. Then click on my phone number. Let's get together for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. Thanks for your time.